Kalimera from outside Syriza's HQ. By Monday morning we'll know whether or not this far-left party can form a government here in Greece. So it's time to ask, what are the risks of a Syriza government? Now, the first one became obvious overnight when news came out that 8 billion euros has left this country in the past week. If you combine that with 3 billion before Christmas, 5 billion in the first 2 weeks of January, this is according to the Reuters news agency, that adds up to about 10% of GDP in the past 5 or 6 weeks since the election was called. That's not good. It's not a great vote of confidence. And here's why people might be moving their money out. The strategic issue is the debt. 320 billion euros, 170% of GDP, not payable by any stretch of the imagination. So Syriza wants to negotiate the debt down. And though it'll do that through negotiation, it will unilaterally cancel the conditions the other governments signed up to for the bailouts they got. That debt is mainly to other European governments, to the IMF and the European Central Bank. Now, when they cancel the conditions, the question becomes, are they still in what's called a programme? That is the EU's programme. They say in here, yes we are, because we've cancelled the conditions, we've got the loans, give us the last bit of the loans, and then let's talk. The smart money from most other people is on the following scenario. The European Central Bank says, no, you're not in a programme, and here's why that's important. Your banks are effectively bust and have been for the past 2 years. We keep them alive with reportedly about 40 billion of European Central Bank short-term lending known as ELA, Emergency Lending Assistance. The clue is in the name emergency. So if the programme runs out on the 28th of Feb, informed sources tell me here in Greece that on the 1st of March, the European Central Bank may have no option but to pull the emergency assistance, the 40 billion that it's using to prop up the Greek banks. And if it does that, the banks in these streets will close, just as they did in Cyprus. And Alexis Tsipras, the leader up there on the 6th floor of the HQ, will be faced with having to do a massive U-turn on all the promises that he's made to Greeks. And at that point goes the kind of scenario put to me. The banks reopen a week later, the ECB bails them out, they force Tsipras to do a U-turn, goodbye Tsipras, and hello, a return of the normal mainstream parties in Greece. That's kind of risk number 2, big risk. Risk number 3, you don't see at 9 AM down here in Komanduru, the square where the Syriza HQ is, but risk number 3 you see at night among the youth. The risk number 3 is there's massive expectations, and the youth in their kebab shops and their coffee bars and their bars can't wait for a Syriza government. They believe there will be jobs, there will be less austerity, there will be more freedom. And I suppose the big risk is that, as with all other left governments in the 20th century that come to power, the masses, inside here they still use the words like the masses, actually have these massive expectations, and they start fighting for things, they start taking things over and creating their own dynamic. That is risk number 3. There's another kind of codicil I'd add, another risk, and that is Greek businesses owe 74 billion euros to the government that they haven't paid in tax. And Tsipras says he wants to kind of do a deal with the unpaid taxpayers, and I think that could be very scratchy when he tries to do it, because this government, this party might take power on Monday, are going to be terribly, terribly short of cash from day one.